Isaiah is not painting a new picture of God. It is the same picture of God that has been evident from the very first, from the very beginning of time. And that's one of the things that Isaiah is going to make plain through the course of this chapter. Have you not heard? Have you not seen? These things were true from the beginning, Isaiah says. God is the one who created the heavens and the earth. He brought forth the stars. He set them up like a canopy. Isaiah is not presenting a new picture of God, someone who is accommodating himself to a new situation, but rather he's presenting the true God, the only God, the God who He is ever since the world began, and even prior to the world began, because He's not a part of this world. He is the creator of the heavens and the earth. He is the one that fashioned all that is. And so Isaiah needs to take his people and remind them of the very God that they serve, because they've forgotten the things which they should have known. Things which were evident just by looking at the world around them, evident to their own hearts, and most especially evident to the people of God who have had God reveal Himself especially through Moses and the prophets. They should have known these things. And so Isaiah reasons with them and gets them to think about their understanding, the perception of God. Perhaps God needs to reason with us as well in our perception of God. Is God really in control of all of history? Is God sovereign in the movement of times and nations and peoples? Does He govern all things? Or is your concept of God more like the deistic form of God, in that God creates the world and gets it started and then just kind of works itself on in its own momentum, like a clock? And God is waiting to see what's going to happen. How big is your God? Isaiah presents a God who is not only the creator of the heavens and the earth, one before whom the nations are as dust, as a drop in the bucket. He is the one who governs history and moves time according to His own purposes. Look at how He talks about the nations of the earth. And here is really the big challenge before Israel that day and before us today, and is the challenge in every generation. Will we place our faith in the Lord our God or in man? Will we seek to please God, or will we seek to please man, others around us? You see, the problem with the Israelites or the Jews of that day, and the problem with most people today, is they put man in the place of God. We do that in very ordinary ways in the course of life, where we're too much concerned, perhaps, about what our neighbors will think, or what people in church will think of us, or what our business partners will think of us. And we put on a good face. We try to make sure that we do all that pleases them. We're concerned that they're not interested in us. And so we're overwhelmed. We put men in the place of God. Isaiah wants us to not look at the nations of the earth, how big and vast they are, how powerful they are. Not look at their rulers. He talks about how these rulers are planted for just a moment. They rise up and then they wither away. They disappear. Verse 23. He brings princes to naught and reduces the rulers of this world to nothing. No sooner are they planted, no sooner are they sown, no sooner do they take root in the ground than He blows on them and they wither. A whirlwind sweeps them away like chaff. Modern nation states are most impressive. Perhaps you've had opportunities to take flights across Europe or across the United States. I've flown in different situations. Flown out of Texas, and as I go up out of Lubbock, Texas, or out of Dallas, Texas, and fly up, you begin to see the farmland underneath, all these patterns of farms all underneath you. And as you go further up, you see the roads, the farm roads, diminishing in size until the cars are just little dots that move along the way. I remember flying in from Chicago into Philadelphia International Airport, and as the plane began to descend through Pennsylvania, we passed over Harrisburg, and then as it were flying over the Pennsylvania Turnpike. And I could see the cars, and I could see the King of Prussia Mall, and these kinds of things as I made my way into the Philadelphia International Airport. Great stretches of land, great places where people lived, an impressive view of the world. I've flown over London, I've flown over various parts of Europe. It's amazing to see the earth and its glory. But you can sense what Isaiah is saying here, that when the Lord who sits upon the circle of the earth, who is above it all, looks upon the nations, but dust on the scales, but a drop in the bucket. They're nothing. It's no big deal to the Creator of the heavens and the earth. You look up into the stars and you see the magnitude of these stars. He's the one that formed and fashioned them. E.J. Young talks about how this curtain that God spreads was like a thin film, and so it's the simplest thing for Him to stretch that out. An emphasis on His great power. We shouldn't fear nations, we shouldn't fear their rulers, who seem powerful for a day, whether it be the President of the United States or some national ruler overseas. We're not frightened about it, because God is the one who sets them up and brings them down. How often have we seen this? Just think in the past 30 years of the rulers that have come to power and have disappeared and are no more. God rules over all. Christians, we need to have a view of God that accepts this God. That's willing to allow God, if you will, to be God. To recognize that He is the ruler of the heavens and the earth, that He accomplishes His own purposes in time and history. Then, furthermore, Isaiah says, not only does God rule the nations and rule the mighty powers of the earth, its rulers, He also has dominion over the gods of the nations. All of the religions of the various nationalities and so forth. You look at the world today, and different states have different gods and forms of worship. The Indian is the Hindu, and the Arab is the Muslim, and you have all these different religions throughout the earth. In some ways reflecting the characteristics of that particular nation. Isaiah says here in the exquisite sharpness of satire that look at what these people do. They get their idol, they build it, they have some careful craftsman form some gold and sheep some gold around it and dress it up with a little bit of silver chains and so forth. And if they can't afford that, they get a piece of wood that's going to endure for some period of time, and a craftsman shapes and carves it, and they got to make sure that it's set up on a stable base so it won't totter. It can't hold itself up. Look at the nations of the earth and the various gods that they have and how they bow down to these little things. But a breath knocks them over. Such is not the God of the heavens and the earth, who created all things and holds them by His word of power. God is not intimidated by the gods of this world, whether it be Marduk, who is a nothing now. The god of the Babylonians is lost. But Isaiah points us to the Creator of the heavens and the earth, who rules over all. Well, what are we to learn from this reminder of the glory of God and His dominion over all the nations of the earth?